In this video, we have a large rational expression, or well, large in the numerator, not much going on in the denominator except an x to the fourth. So just to make things simpler, I'm going to first cancel out a common factor of x. We have an x in this large term and an x in this large term. I'm not talking about the x squared because this x squared is being added to the 2, and so is this x squared. But we have this x that's being multiplied by stuff, and this x cubed that's being multiplied by stuff. So that's a factor. And an x to the fourth in the denominator. So that x is common. So we're going to cross out one of the x's. That leaves this being x squared. And this would just be crossed out, which would just leave 2 times 1, or just 2. And in the denominator, we cross out one of the x's, and we have x to the third. So I'm going to rewrite this with one of those x's crossed out. That leaves us with 6x squared times x squared plus 2 quantity to the second power minus 2 times the quantity x squared plus 2 quantity to the third power all over x to the third. Now in the numerator here, I'm going to factor out a common factor, and what we have for a common factor is x squared plus 2 raised to the second power. So this is x squared plus 2 raised to the third power, so it's like this x squared plus 2 raised to the second power times another x squared plus 2. So I'm going to factor out this x squared plus 2 to the second power. All right, so that will look like this. X squared plus 2 to the second quantity to the second power. What is that being multiplied by? It's being multiplied by a 6x squared. It's also being multiplied by a negative 2 times, remember, we have 3 of these x squared plus 2's factors, so we still have one left after we take out 2 of the factors. So we still have an x squared plus 2 there. Okay, and that is all still over, let's get that line a little straighter, that is all still over x cubed. Okay, at this point, what are we going to do? We have to clean up inside here. Let's distribute the negative 2 by the x squared and the 2, and I'll pause it and just write that down. This is getting us very close now to a finished answer. We have x squared plus 2 quantity squared, that's still there. Over here, the negative 2 distributed, and so what we have inside the parentheses is 6x squared and then minus 2x squared minus 4. Well, 6x squared minus 2x squared is just going to give us 4x squared. So let's write this down. What do we have left here? We have x squared plus 2. This thing is still hanging out, raised to the second power. Inside the larger set of parentheses, we have 4x squared minus 4. This is all, oh boy, that is all over x to the third. Let's bring this down a little bit and give a little bit more room. Now what we can do is clean this up a little bit. I'm going to factor a 4 out of what's, let's put this in purple here. I'm going to factor a 4 out of just this. So what will we have left? We'll have x squared plus 2. That is quantity squared. We have times of 4 times an x squared minus 1 all over x cubed. Now, depending on if this is a book problem, they might leave it like this. They might choose to further factor this x squared minus 1. They may have left it like we have up here in this blue, because they're all equal, and once something is canceled out, in my opinion, it's simplified. But you know, I understand that books have different ways of writing the answers, and so I'll write this in another way that you might see the answer. So this would be the 4. The 4 might be moved out front. A lot of times the constants are, so 4 times. Then we would factor this x squared minus 1 as x plus 1 times x minus 1. The x squared plus 2 quantity squared, that's still tagging along. X squared plus 2 quantity squared, and that's still all over x cubed. And I don't mind showing, of course, more than one way to write the answer, and it's good for any student who's taking a test or who will be taking a test to realize that there are different ways to write the answer, because you might have a multiple choice answer where you get this, let's say what's written in blue, but only this is one of the answers that's shown on a multiple choice. So it is good to be able to change things up a little bit so that it looks like the answer, one of the choices in a multiple choice. All right, I hope that helps.